Welcome everybody. We're back to Spinner Rack, and we got most of the crew here today. We got Petey, we got Cal, and we just want to say we're going to talk about X-Men Apocalypse. I just want to come off straight off the top and say there's no way in hell this movie's going to make more than Batman v Superman.
And when it does make more than Batman v Superman, what are you going to do then?
But
why are we
what do you
going
do
a comparison?
But it's going to make
Batman
more money.
It's a hot-looking trailer.
It's going to make more money, dude.
I think there's going to be
Every X-Men movie, every X-Men film successfully done better than the last one. There's no reason for this one to make less money.
Okay, look, dude, I'm just trying to tell you. I don't think the audience is.
It's good. If it gets good reviews, it's going to make more money.
It's
and you know why it's going to make more money? Because everybody is still trying to rinse out the nasty taste that was Batman vs. Superman from the
I don't know why it had to be. We could just talk about this movie.
Hey, that was him.
No,
that was him.
You
started
it. I just want to just make a point. But we'll see, okay? Some people are going to be eating their words when we get done with this. But today,
I didn't even say anything about it.
Some people are going to be eating something else.
Let's just say, well, we should be eating Cuban because you want to bet. But I don't
no. You can't say stuff like that. You can't say stuff like that on the TV. Okay?
Continuing on. Welcome everybody here with Spinner Rack, and we want to talk about this new movie coming out today called X-Men Apocalypse, which I think will be a pretty good show. Will it meet expectations?
Yes.
It's a whole nother.
Yes, it's going to meet expectations.
Will it meet the lofty expectations of prior movies this year? And I can't say that's going to be.
You think it's not going to do as well as any of the other
As
movies?
what?
No Fox movie has done as well as a Marvel.
No,
or
hold on a
DC
second.
movie.
Hold on a second.
So let's go there.
Hold on a second. What was the last Fox movie with a mutant in it, or a mutant type character, an X-Men character that did very well?
Listen, Days of Future Past?
Deadpool.
No, Deadpool,
I
yeah.
don't want to consider Deadpool.
Too bad.
We don't want to consider
Well, the
Deadpool.
money they
That
put
right
in
there
it.
was your entire argument.
But Deadpool didn't do as well as the last two movies.
What was the last
No.
Fox
It didn't
character?
do as well. It didn't do as well as
What was the last Fox
As
character?
far as profit,
Just
it
answer my
makes money
question. What was
back.
the last Fox character? X-Men Connected that did well. Deadpool.
Fantastic
so that's
Four.
their
Fantastic
lead.
Four went down in flames.
Days of
just
Future
like
Past, which you like, right?
I love
You like
Yes,
this,
I
so
did.
then
Days of Future
But I'm
Past.
just saying Fantastic Four didn't do well. So right now we don't know.
Are you kidding me? Are you
Deadpool
kidding me?
and
Fantastic
you
Four has
like-
nothing to do with the mutants. Okay, nothing.
It was a Fox property.
So,
All right,
the
so
last
that's what
Fox
I said Fox.
You can't have it both ways. You would say, oh no, let's focus on Fantastic Four. That was a Fox property. But Deadpool, no, that did too well. So that doesn't work for my
I said we
argument.
couldn't.
So
All right,
since that doesn't
stacking
work for
the
my
deck,
argument,
America.
we can't do this.
We're not stacking the deck. All right, you know what?
Stacking the
Let's
deck.
just get to the review of the trailer, guys. All right?
No,
I think the
I'm
trailer.
not done beating you up.
Olivia Munn. Shocking.
Blazing.
Yeah, she does.
Blazing
look
hot.
You know? Fassbender as I'm a little
That-
confused.
that's
In
already-
the comic book is a little bit different than in the comic book.
Well, see, this story right over
Yeah.
here. This story here is almost like a whole cloth story. They got the characters,
Yeah.
but this has almost nothing to do with how we first saw Apocalypse
Yeah.
in comics whatsoever. I know what they were salivating. What they really would have loved to have done was the Age of Apocalypse storyline. That would have been really cool, but they can't do it without introducing Apocalypse first. I think they made some necessary changes because when I first saw the Apocalypse, I was like, I have no idea. He looked like that purple villain from like Power Rangers or something.
Yes.
So they made their changes over there. The trailer looks dynamic enough and interesting enough for it to come over. And the X-Men films, thankfully, the X-Men films are almost like the X-Men films are almost like in a pocket onto their own. So they really only have to be. they don't. You really can't judge them against the other superhero movies.
Or
They
other
really,
X-Men.
they really have to just judge them against their own. And the last one did well, so that's your lead-in. You really don't see any reason why this one shouldn't do well.
Well, I wonder, there's a lot of negative stuff about the X-Men now. And when I was complaining about the
Not
Days of
reading any of
Future, it's like everyone's like, oh, this is terrible. Oh, this is that. Oh, they ran out of steam on the X-Men. But people love the Quicksilver, some of the other stuff in Days of
They
Future
did.
Past and Wolverine and all that stuff.
And Quicksilver's back.
Quicksilver's back. I think they scored with the Psylocke. I'm not really necessarily Psylocke. I like the original Psylocke character before she got turned into Elektra. But at the same time, I'm not really keen on the casting of Storm, but Storm is pretty hot. What can you say? What can
The
you
casting
do?
of Storm is
It's not the Storm
What?
I
What's her
envisioned.
name? Alex-
Hey,
I don't think
she's the
it
actress who
matters
plays her?
because
It
I thought Halle Berry in terms of casting was pretty hot too. They never gave her anything to
bad
do.
wig,
That is true.
terrible
There was no
wig.
story.
They never
and
gave
they
her
never
anything
give
to
it
do.
exactly. Yeah, not even
But-
just
If
with
Halle Berry were to walk in this room right now, wigging on, I'd be like, Petey, would you come outside and have something
Bad
to talk
wig?
about? We would never see Petey again. Petey would be gone, bad wig and all.
Hey, what can I do?
No, look, I think the problem with the
It's-
previous, and I
it's
think
Halle
the thing that hobbles a lot of the X-Men movie and may have hurt BVS is that you have a lot of characters
I don't.
involved. You know what I'm
How are
saying?
you bringing BVS into this?
BVS.
Okay, you know what? Let's take BVS.
The X-Men
No,
movies.
no, let's take it out. No, I'm taking it back. I'm
X-Men
pulling it back
movies.
in. I'm pulling it back in. Pulling it back
I'm
in.
going with your other point. The X-Men movies already are character heavy. Even the first movie was character heavy.
Yeah.
So that's not a big deal.
But
this
this
is
is why
an
you al-
ensemble. This
Right,
is an
but the
ensemble piece.
Yeah, but you have to focus on somebody, and this is why they always almost
The first movie, who did they focus on?
Wolverine.
But I'm saying
The
this
second
is why,
movie, who did they focus on?
Wolverine.
Third movie, who did they focus on?
Wolverine and
No.
Jane.
There we go. Okay? So there's always somebody to focus on in these films.
Right,
You're
but
not making any sense, big business.
No,
You're
but
not
I'm
making
saying
any sense.
But I'm saying
You
the other
can't-
characters.
And that was a play
the
on
other,
words.
the other characters fall off, and people don't know what's going on with them. You know?
What are you talking about?
We're talking about the Storm. Did we not just talk about Storm?
No,
The Storm,
no,
she
what are
didn't
you
develop
talking about? This is a
story or
new character in terms of this story. We have a new actress. We don't get to see. Look, they're playing.
I
this,
guarantee you, she's not
they're
going to have
playing
much
this
to do.
retro. They're trying to play
That's
this
the problem
retro.
with
They went from the
writers.
50s. They went from the 50s, late 60s. They're going through the time periods up to
Mhm.
this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the person who's going to become, the Halle Berry character in the future. But they're not connected. This is a new actress. Almost new Storm for the most part,
A
and
new-
they're
a
going
new
backwards
Phoenix.
because they got her with the bloody mohawk that she's not
Yeah.
really even supposed to have
Until
yet.
the 80s, yeah.
Okay, so all those concerns and even that type of critique and criticism doesn't really apply here.
Mhm.
It's like you're looking for something to hit this over with. You can't do it. Not based on the
I'm
trailer.
taking offense to that, man. I'm not looking for anything. I'm giving this trailer. This movie's going to stand on its own, just like I gave the other movie that you liked.
What movie is that?
I don't want to. I don't want to say anything.
What movie?
I want to stick to this movie here.
Captain America: Civil War.
I'm not touching that, PD.
You're not a fan of Captain America Civil War?
I'm just saying when someone
Do
constantly
you
wants
want
to
our
hit
comment
me,
section to be lit up?
every time you want to hit other people over the head instead of BVS, you want to talk about something else. You know, I don't think that they get. Look, I don't want to go into this. This is a whole nother
Okay.
issue. We're talking about X-Men versus X-Men
my
Apocalypse.
gosh.
Okay, and
Film's
whether or
gonna-
not
the
whether or
film's
not it's
gonna
going
do
to
well.
whether it's going to be as
Look,
successful
the
as
film's
BVS,
going to do well.
I don't know.
The film's going to do well. It's probably going to outpace its last film as well, simply because the last film did very well based on the budget. It did over 700 million. This film has a couple of things going for it outside of its own, and that's one is that in spite of everyone talking about superhero fatigue, there's
Mhm.
really no fatigue. There's still a very big interest in superheroes and the
Mhm.
films. So I think this is probably going to surpass what it did last time. May surpass it by almost 100 million, and you're there.
And it's still under BVS.
Why do you keep bringing
Oh,
BVS?
I'm
into
just,
this?
I'm just making a point. You know,
There's no point to be
This
made.
is successful as an X-Men.
Do it
film.
again.
It'll
Do it again. See what happens.
It's successful as an X-Men movie, and that's it.
Well, I as an X-Men fan, I don't like Mystique leading the X-Men and teaching them, whereas the original
Valid
X-Men,
being blue.
Valid point. Valid
Purple.
point.
the original X-Men are like, they were 16, no, they're like 18 to 16, right? That's their age range. And they go out and they fight Magneto, and they beat him in less than 15 minutes. So Magneto gets beat so bad, he has to get his own team to fight with them. So it's like, this is like, they don't need to be told
I don't
how to
disagree-
be X-Men.
I don't disagree with you at all on that point. There's only one problem with that. That requires reading. And a lot of these people are not going to go back to read any of those issues. And
Okay.
I don't disagree with you. I think it's a blatant grab what they're doing with Jennifer Lawrence and bringing her
She's
and
hot.
putting her
She's
to
a
the
big actress now.
she's a big actress. She has a whole franchise behind her. Okay,
Yeah.
let's give her some light. Let's put her there. The best we get to see with Professor Xavier is that bald-headed look, and he's looking right at you, Petey, every time.
Why is he looking at me?
Because he knows he hates it. But I don't.
Professor Xavier's bald. As of high school, he lost his hair.
This is true.
He wasn't walking around with big hairdo.
He wasn't walking.
chilling.
He wasn't walking at all.
He was walking back then, but he was
This
like
has
tall.
been retconned, so it's a whole nother animal. We
Oh,
understand.
God,
This
yes.
Look,
thing is totally different. We know
Yeah,
that.
My
he's
prediction-
correct on this. He's
my
finally correct on something.
My prediction for the
Ah.
film: it's going to do well. Okay, it's more than likely going to surpass what it did in terms of numbers. Simply, and I'm saying not because it's going to be some really off the wall excellent film, but the X-Men films have been solid. There is still an audience and an appetite for superhero films. Everybody remembers the last X-Men film. It was enjoyable. It's going to get good reviews. And people want to go see something at this point that is a superhero film that is of good quality. So I think it's going to do very well.
Well, I just think that with the Fantastic Four, and I think people are lumping it in that a lot of the Fox or Sony properties have gone back to Marvel. They're like,
Only
Oh,
one. It's
let's
only Spider-Man.
well,
What about the Hulk?
Hulk left
From
the
Universal,
Universal.
but
and
that
went back to
okay,
them.
but they got him back They got him back almost 10
And
years
Daredevil,
ago.
and Daredevil, they got back. So they're like, oh, the Marvel properties are the ones we should buy into.
Oh,
We shouldn't.
who had Daredevil? Was it Fox? Or
I think
something?
Universal also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
They made one film and they were never going to do another one.
They
They
were
made
bad
one
ones,
film with
yes.
him, made one
And
film with
they did
Elektra.
Elektra.
And they
It was
realized, you know what?
terrible.
You know what they realized? You know what? We don't know what we're doing. Okay, we don't know what we're doing. End the story on. End the story on those. But
currently
Fox,
Marvel has a magic touch.
look, Fox has
Well-
had two things going for it in terms of their X-Men series. One, they came out well before everybody else,
Mhm.
so they got to set a little bit of a standard, not for other comic book films, but for themselves.
Yeah.
And two, in terms of their direction, they've had people who've been solid enough to keep the stories together, strong enough so audiences could vibe with it. I've already said, and I've been on record with this, the X-Men the X-Men films don't strike me so much as superhero films. I think you could easily take those characters' powers away and just tweak it a little bit, and it could easily be spies. It could easily be countries fighting against each other, because it's not really superheroes fighting against supervillains. It's mutants fighting against each other, and that's what allows them to have a lot more playroom with it at the end of the day. So they can paint a broader brush with it, and it works. You can have Magneto being the cause for the Cuban Missile Crisis if that's what you want to go for it, and you can do those sorts of things. So their competition, as I see it, is really themselves. If you're a really big X-Men fan, and I know
That's
you
what
are,
I'm saying. I've been too
you're a
calm
big X-Men
through
fan,
all of this stuff.
I understand
This
all
is
the
my
criticism.
Man of Steel. This series is my Man of Steel. This is
Somebody
my
say Man
Zack
of Steel?
Snyder. This is my problem. I cannot accept what they've done to the X-Men.
I think he has. I think he can, and I think he will. I think he'll be there.
No, I will not be there.
Okay, he's gonna be there. So
Hey, I think it's going to be.
I
This
need
is-
to
this
have
is
my
not-
moment. I don't have a moment where I flip out, and this is it. And that's.
But how can you
that's
flip
I
out?
ran
You see
out
the
of
trailers.
energy.
The trailers. You looked at the trailers. And the
I've
trailers-
seen
the trailers-
too many Singer films.
that's the calmest flip
Right.
out.
But you see, I'm telling you, now, we've seen the trailer, and as the trailer grabs you, it's like, wow, this is like the absolute favorite
Hey,
thing. It
dude,
doesn't get
see,
you.
I already went back
See,
on my own
that's
statement.
exactly my
I saw
point.
Psylocke, and I was like, oh, she's hot.
I saw the trailer. Okay, if you were to ask me, is it a memorable trailer? No, not really.
Exactly.
Is it jumping off the wall trailer? No. Do I think it's going to do well? Yeah, I think it's going to do very well, because again, I don't remember any of the trailers or any of these X-Men films striking me to the point they were like, oh, but they still do very well. And with the last one, I remember it was in the last 15 minutes, and I'm sitting back realizing this was really good. I was like, this was really good.
No.
This is really
They
put well
hurt-
together.
They took a story which, and the female viewers, the Days of Future Past is your story. This is like
Oh,
Kitty
Lord.
Pryde
I'm out.
is
Drop the mic.
Kitty Pryde
Hold
is
up.
the catalyst of the whole story.
Right.
Storm is the leader of the X-Men, and then Mystique is the villain. And Wolverine has some great parts, but it's a woman's story,
But they
and he
never
turned
developed
it
those
all to the
characters.
guys.
But now it's a
They
woman's
never
story,
developed- they
because
never
now
developed the characters.
Mystique is leading the X-Men.
True.
So I get what you're saying.
But now Cyclops, we take Cyclops and he's like, I don't know how to use my powers.
Oh.
Then can use it. I can't control my powers. Then don't control your powers. Good advice.
Okay, I agree with you there. But that type of criticism, you can't apply it, because in that film, why did they put Hugh Jackman in? Because he was the most recognizable person.
Mm-hmm.
He was the lead. He was the guy that everybody's going to come to see. So Kitty Pryde was not going to do it. And then this Hugh Jackman isn't around, so Jennifer Lawrence
He's
gets
coming.
bumped
He'll
up.
be around.
Yeah, we're just going to see some claws.
No, we're gonna see some weird stuff. They gotta sell this. So if they hadn't done,
So Jennifer Lawrence gets to do it. So
Wolverine
those
will be a
changes.
small part. He'll be like he'll steal the
The
show.
changes.
Like
we
Wonder
understand
Woman.
why the changes are being made.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Well, I'm good.
All right. So, gents, is this movie going to make it?
Yes.
Yeah, so people stop complaining, and then they'll go see it, and they'll be like, "Oh, X-Men is great." Oh,
X-Men-
Bryan Singer,
Or can this
all
movie
that
be
stuff.
the beginning of the end for superhero films?
Oh,
No,
Lord,
no, I'm not gonna say
no.
All right.
Are you waiting for
There's
the
only
end?
one film.
Are
There's
you
only-
waiting for more, Batman? That's what you care about. All the stuff will go, and they'll do another Batman film.
There's only one
right?
film that,
Well-
that was the beginning and end for superhero films, and it was just for that particular universe. But these guys will
Fantastic
be okay.
Four?
No,
Which one was it?
Batman vs Superman.
There he goes
Thank
with
you.
the crap. That's
Thank
what I'm
you. I
talking
was
about.
waiting for it. I needed it.
You know, what do you mean you needed it?
He's kinda right. I
He's
mean-
wrong. What are you talking about? The movie almost made $900 million.
You're
I mean, that's a
alone.
lot
You're
of
alone,
money.
Mario.
They made $868 million. You fibber. You fudger.
He said almost.
And the
He
budget,
didn't say
the
almost.
budget was
He said almost.
$425 million.
And they covered.
No, they didn't, because they made $200 million in China.
All right, this
and
is
they can only
X-Men.
put
Okay,
This is X-Men.
We know for well they're going to make additional money off of other lines.
Oh, whatever.
So this is going to be a 1.5 billion movie by the time everything is over.
This
Okay.
is X-Men.
But X-Men,
Because they
I
don't
guess
have
it
to,
is
because
an
it
X-Men.
doesn't cost them any money to make that stuff that they got to sell, right? Yeah, it didn't cost any money.
So I'm just saying, is ladies and gentlemen, once
Oh,
again,
that's the other thing. Apocalypse never fought Xavier.
That's true.
He
That's
has
also
no
true.
powers to actually beat Xavier, but
That's
they
true
give
as
him
well.
a ton of powers. And if you read the Age of Apocalypse, you'll understand why they never came in conflict. So if you're a fan, you know this isn't actually going to work. They have to stilt it.
Here's a hint
against
why they never
Xavier.
came in conflict. There's a hint. Okay, this right here is one of the reasons why most people never come in conflict.
So
with
they got to
Xavier.
figure that out in this movie. That's the big hurdle. Or they have to say that, hey, he
so
can
wait,
supersede.
are you knocking the movie then? Are you saying it's not going to do well?
I'm saying that Apocalypse is turning into Omega Red.
His criticisms of the film are no different, I think, than mine to a certain extent. Story-wise and the treatment of the characters are one thing, but is the film going to do well?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
it's
really
gonna
say
do
much
well.
about that.
Are you going to like it?
I don't know if I didn't like the last one. I haven't liked, only like X2. That one, I
Wow,
enjoyed.
that's saying a lot. You only liked X2?
Yeah, X2 was they set up something simple and they simplified stuff. Oh, before we go, they're talking about doing the
Old Man Logan.
The share. No, forget Old Man Logan.
The shared universe?
The Shire. They're thinking about.
The
Oh,
Shire?
they're trying to be doing
They're
that.
saying the
No,
next
that-
movie
that would
they're
be
gonna try to
cool.
go to space.
That would be
Do
cool.
you guys think that's gonna work?
No.
See,
well,
it'll be-
Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's a good ending.
No.
Everyone said no. No one.
I didn't say.
agree
You know
with
what?
that.
I didn't
That's
say
great.
Guardians of the Galaxy would work, and that worked, right?
See ya. See ya.
No, but I'm saying for the X-Men going to space, these are characters are less
I
space
thought we were
worthy.
done.
He's
No, we're
asked
not.
me a question. He asked me a question, so I'm answering it. These characters are
All
less
right, take
space
it back.
worthy.
We're back. We're back.
These characters are less space worthy than Johnny Storm and Sue Storm. None of the X-Men should be in space. None of them have any abilities. And if we complain about Sue
But
and
they've
Johnny,
been in space. We've read the comics. They've been in
a
space.
feral mutant,
And we're
guy-
good. And we're good, right? And we're good. We'll
We're
see you
not,
next
we're not
time.
good. Hold on.
We'll see you next
We're
time.
exploring this. What? Explain.
All right, you guys are exploring your own.
Kitty Pryde, 13-year-old.
There you
What's the
go.
name? What's the name? Colossus Farmer, Wolverine Feral, meaning that he has basic things that he has no ability to understand. He can't go into space. He's less space worthy than Sue and Johnny at 16 years old.
Point duly noted. We'll check you guys later.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it shows that we are not all in agreement with the fact that this trailer is going to sell the movie. That it's going to be a successful movie. Spin a rack out.